Hey there, creative people. What we're going to do today is make a slab yarn bowl. And when you are working with slabs, you want to make sure that you compress them really well after you roll them out. That will help you with stress cracks when you're building with them and when they are drying. I make sure to do both sides, and I also make sure to go two directions when I'm compressing. Alright, the easiest way to get a level edge is to set it up against a straight edge, like you see me doing here, and cutting. I'm just free cutting the top. This is a really loose project, so it makes it really fun and open to lots of different interpretations. So I cut the wavy edge on the top, and what I'm doing now is taking my plastic just so that the clay doesn't stick to my finger because it is really wet, and I'm softening up these edges. It's gonna make a bevel, and then I'll flip it over and I'll soften up the other side. I do that on all edges except for that straight edge on the bottom, because that is the edge that's going to attach to the bottom of your yarn bowl, and you want that to be flat so that it sits flat on the slab you roll out. And next, just for funsies, I'm going to roll some texture into this slab, and then I will have to set it in front of the fan for just a couple minutes so that it will dry out. It won't take long because it is thin. Slabs dry out nice and fast. While you're waiting for your slab to dry, what you can do is roll out a nice large piece of clay for the bottom of your yarn bowl. Okay, so my slab is wet enough that I can bend it, but not so wet that it'll collapse when I set it upright like you see here. I'm going to slip and score and set it into a round shape, and then I'm actually going to, once I get it all attached and the seam kind of worked into itself, I'm going to squeeze it into an oval. And then we'll talk about I will take my texture tool back into that seam just so that you know, so that I can kind of blend it in and make it make sense. And then we're going to talk about putting the bottom on. Another thing I wanted to talk about in terms of where I've cut this wavy part, you saw me poke the small corners with my needle tool. That little poke there with that needle tool, you see me doing it here, will help prevent cracking. It's a trick I learned from Sam Chung. When you're cutting into a sharp edge with clay, sometimes the crack will develop and it will continue down. So that round little curve of your needle tool will help prevent that crack from moving any further. It's a neat little trick. And then another thing I'm doing here is just kind of pushing a little bit out with my rib to make this a little less slab-like and a little poofier. So, you know, just little tricks to help you along your journey. Okay, and we're going to attach now. So I'm kind of putting this on this larger slab. I'll trace around the perimeter of the wall at the bottom there, and then I'm gonna pick the piece off of the large slab, score, and put it back on. I cut the whole thing last because it's just easier that way instead of trying to match one exact shape to another exact shape. So we're tracing and we're removing, we're scoring, we're going to score the bottom of the piece, and then we'll slip everything and attach and cut. Okay, so if this looks different from the previous slab, it's because it is, and that's because the video was not recording when I cut the space for the yarn. I'm cutting the space for the yarn on this one so you can see. I just basically traced a little worm shape out. Some people do just holes in the side. There's all kinds of different options. You can look online and see the different things people do for these. I'm beveling the inside and the out. I'll smooth that down with my finger, and then I'm going to take that clay that I cut away and I'm actually going to put it kind of back in loosely, and that's to hold that little arm that's floating there at the top in place. I'm just trying to keep it from moving in the kiln as much as possible. It's still going to move a little bit, especially in the glaze firing, because you won't be able to have that piece of clay there. So this is the just trying to keep it as still as possible. And just make sure your clay isn't super wet when you stick that clay back in there to hold that still. You don't want it to stick. So the last thing that I decided to do on this little yarn bowl was a little extra pocket in the back, and it's just a square that I started with that I kind of pooched out in the center, and this is just a little pocket to hold needles or crochet hooks or scissors or and the such. So, you know, you can opt for it or opt out. It's up to you. I kind of drew a line around the pocket, pulled it off, scored inside where my line was, and now I'm just attaching and smoothing and refining and all that good stuff. And that is it for our yarn bowl. I hope that you enjoy the project, and thanks for watching. Have a great day.